the number of operations we have at Republic Airport, we're the third busiest in the state for number of operations, and that's behind LaGuardia and JFK. So yeah, there's that much going on a daily basis. So you asked what I do. It's managing all of that and probably one of the most operated facilities in the state.
Today, we're going wheels up on the DOT, POD, talking about Republic Airport with someone who knows the tarmac and runways like the back of his hand.
The New York State Department of Transportation presents the DOT POD.
And welcome into the DOT POD. I'm Josh Heller.
And I'm Anya Cardos.
And we are delighted to have you joining us.
Well, many airports, are run by counties or airport authorities, but Republic Airport on Long Island is actually owned and operated by the New York State Department of Transportation.
Now, this airport is one of the busiest in New York State in terms of aircraft operations, and it's home to an annual air show, supports regional sporting events and venues, including the U.S. Open Golf Championship at Bethpage State Park Golf Course. And we are very excited to have Republic's Airport Director, Tony Ceglio, joining us to talk all about this and more. Welcome, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Well, let's kick things off with learning a bit about you. Please share something about your history with DOT and running the airport.
Okay, where do I start? I've been with DOT for just about 5 years now. I came from DOT from two other airports. I've been in the aviation industry for about 40 years now.
Amazing.
Prior to this, I worked at Gabreski Airport in West Hampton Beach, New York. And before that, Long Island MacArthur Airport in Islip.
And what did you do for those airports?
At Gabreski, West Hampton Airport, I was the airport manager. And at Islip, I was the airport operations manager.
Wow. So you've got a long history in aviation. Are you also a pilot? Or?
Yes. Yeah. I originally started out, my education included pilot training at Florida Tech. I got my bachelor's degree in aviation management.
Oh.
I also have a commercial instrument multi-engine pilot's rating. That's not current, but I haven't flown in a while because, training or being current is expensive.
It takes a lot of work,
it's an expensive hobby. So, yeah. But very familiar with all aspects of aviation.
Yeah, I've heard about the $300 cheeseburgers or more if you
exactly.
people who fly to, it's a destination or whatever, just to fly there.
Just to get out there and get some experience, yeah.
And get up in the air. Well, most people associate DOT, as you know, with roads and bridges, definitely not runways. So for people who are, maybe don't know so much about Republic, what exactly does Republic Airport offer and what makes it unique in our New York State aviation system?
So I think what makes it unique is its proximity to New York City. A lot of corporations, a lot of celebrities, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of corporate activity, corporate jets, that kind of thing. We're also very nearby some of the sporting venues. So the Islanders hockey team, for instance, flies in and out during hockey season. Some of St. John's University basketball team also flies in and out. And I'm saying flies in and out. They charter 737 type jets or Airbus 330s, similar what you'd see at large, commercial airports.
Now, Republic Airport has a long and rich history. So if you don't mind, we can go all the way back, but let's talk a little bit about the history of Republic Airport, because it's actually a fascinating kind of story and I guess how ultimately, DOT came to own and operate it.
It is very interesting. It's actually kind of cool. It began in 1928. It's probably one of the oldest airports on Long Island, if not the state. It was originally built by Sherman Fairchild, who wanted to manufacture aircraft back in the day. Over the years, it was the home to Seversky Aircraft, Republic. It was also Grumman Aviation. The DOT came about or came to acquire it through the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, who I think bought it from the Fairchild Company or Republic Aviation. MTA had it for a number of years, and then DOT acquired it, I think it was in 1979. So we've been operating it since then.
So take us through, you mentioned DOT operates. So what does that entail, right? What is it that, What would you say you do here? No, but I mean, what does that entail as far as, what responsibilities are DOTs for the airport?
Well, that's an interesting question, and it's also hard to describe. But there's a lot that goes on there. It's a general aviation airport. It's encompassing 532 acres. There's a terminal building. There's 3 fixed base operators that operate there that basically are service stations for all kinds of aircraft. We have 16 corporate hangars. There's a museum at the airport. SUNY, State University of New York, Aviation Farmingdale is there as well. We have an aviation high school. So managing all of those facilities, including the runways, the taxiways, the ramps, getting funding for those projects, for infrastructure upkeep, the leases for all those facilities. We're all in charge of that, and in addition to that, there's airport operations staff, there's airport emergency staff that we're also in charge of.
You say general aviation. This is private. These are private planes.
Yes, I guess you could call it private planes. It's not. We don't have any scheduled commercial operations at the airport. It's mostly charter operations. We have 100 based jet aircraft, and about 400 based aircraft total. Wow. The majority of our operations, about 80% of the operations, are flight training operations, believe it or not, through the SUNY, State University of New York. Liberty University also has a flight school there, and there's 13 other flight schools. You
did mention something interesting that I didn't know. Aviation high school?
Yes.
There's a program for high schoolers at the airport?
It's Western Suffolk BOCES, and they train for airframe and power plant mechanics. So they're repairing small engines and fixing aircraft in general. Wow. They're also doing a limited amount of flight training. They kind of give them an intro to flight training, and then they can go on to get their private pilot's license through another one of the facilities on the airport.
Wow. So really growing the next generation of people who are technicians and pilots.
Exactly. Like I said, 80% of those operations that we have at the airport are for flight training. And I want to just bring up the operations too. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but the number of operations we have at Republic Airport, we're the 3rd busiest in the state for number of operations. And that's behind LaGuardia and JFK.
That's
so
amazing.
Yeah, there's that much going on a daily basis. So you asked what I do. It's managing all of that and probably one of the most operated facilities in the state.
Yeah, you mentioned, those other ones. And obviously, as far as size is concerned, those are certainly larger airports, but the amount that's going on at Republic is quite extensive. It plays a huge role in the state transportation's picture, especially when it comes to relieving congestion. You mentioned its proximity and how convenient it can be for people who maybe don't want to fly into some of those larger, more congested areas and airports.
And that's exactly right. So the corporate traffic, for instance, you have somebody that wants to fly from New York to Los Angeles, and they don't want to get on a JetBlue, for instance, or a Delta because they have to go through a congested terminal. They'll charter a jet and come to the airport probably 15 minutes before they want to leave, get on the jet, and they're gone. Wow. It's that much of a relief to some people that can afford that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. And there's got to be a lot of businesses around there that utilize the airport.
Yes.
Obviously.
That there's, a significant economic impact for the businesses that surround the airport. And even as far as, like I said, New York City, I want to say the economic impact is over $200 million. Wow. For just the airport in terms of spending. The economic impact for the region or for the area is over 300 million. I think we support about 1,000 jobs right on the airport, and even more than that when you take into account the surrounding area.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You were just talking about too what you mentioned a few minutes ago about the flight schools. What kind of variety? There's a few of them there. Correct?
Yeah. There's it ranges. Some people say 13, some say 14. I'm going to stick with 14. But as I mentioned, State University of New York, they have about 20 airplanes, and it's part of their Bachelor's of Aviation program. They go all the way from private pilot to instrument to multi-engine pilots. Liberty University also has a presence there through one of the flight schools. And then there's some smaller flight schools, 10 or 12 other ones that will do the same thing, private pilot all the way up through multi-engine pilot.
Yeah, you were talking about economic engine. You also, this is, the airport has actually been used as a backdrop in a lot of films.
True.
What are these movies?
It's kind of, again, proximity to New York City. So we've had film shoots from CSI. You probably heard them. FBI Most Wanted, Law and Order. Angelina Jolie was in a movie called Salt. That was part of that was filmed also at Republic Airport. And then there's so many I can't even really remember all of them.
John Wick.
John Wick.
Yeah. If you guys have seen the movie, you know when he's training on his amazing car. It is you can actually see
that's at Republic Airport.
DOT video or DOT trucks, I believe, on that he kind of somehow was able to drift alongside that's taking place there as well.
There's been a few movies where I'm watching the movie and I'm like, wait a minute, that's the hangar at our airport. It's kind of cool. Yeah.
So let's talk about some fun stuff, right? The airport, we talked about, the importance not only to the state as a whole, obviously to that area, but it also hosts an annual air show, a massive air show. We talked about regional sporting events and venues, things like that. Talk about the air show for a little bit. I think it's one of the larger ones in the state, and it certainly drives a lot of not only economic impact, but a lot of tourism to that area, and really it's out of everything takes off from there.
Majority of them, depends on the year. It's every year, and it's really hosted by the State Parks Department, and Chip Gorman and his team do an incredible job with coordinating the whole thing. Yes, the airplanes land at Republic, and I'd say a majority of them every other year, and actually in 2026, we're going to get the Blue Angels back, and they'll land right basically at the main terminal building right in front of my office, which is really kind of cool.
Oh, wow.
Every other year.
Good day at the office.
Yes. I've got some great pictures out my window. Every other year, it's the Air Force Thunderbirds, and they'll fly over to MacArthur and take off out of there. But the annual air show is incredible. If you ever been to an air show at a beach, Jones Beach is where it's hosted. It's incredible. There's hundreds of thousands of people that go, and it's just amazing to see.
I used to my dad was retired Air Force, and we used to go see the Thunderbirds every year at Hanscom Air Force Base, where we live nearby. Now, speaking of air power, shall we say? It is home to a great museum, the American Air Power Museum. Talk about this this museum, what's there, and the types of people that it brings out.
It's very interesting and historical to the airport. It's located in Hangar 3 at the airport, which was used by Fairchild Republic to actually build some of these airplanes that are there, including there were 9,000 P-47s, single engine airplanes that were built for World War II right there at the airport. Not necessarily in that hangar, but in the facility that included that hangar.
Are there some of those old aircraft there that you can see?
There's an A-10 that's there now, that's on display that you can go and see.
The Warthog.
That was actually built there?
Yes, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The old A-10 Warthog.
Exactly,
Love it.
Love it.
Oh, wow.
Tank killer is what they call it.
Exactly.
Very cool airplane. Like I said, 9,000 P-47s were built during World War II. F-105 Thunderjets were also built there. The facility was in operation all the way up to, I believe it was around 1980. They were still building aircraft or parts for aircraft at this place. So the Air Power Museum supports a lot of those aircraft that were built there. They also have a C-47 that basically it's a DC-3 made for the military that flies. It takes people up for, I think it's about $300. They'll take you up and they'll fly you around the beach and bring you back. And they dress you in basically the period uniforms and stuff like that to get the sense of what it was like to fly in a P-47. A C-47, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Really kind of cool. Yeah, they've got a P-51 Mustang there. There's a couple other ones that I'm sure I'm missing, but it's a cool place to go. I want to say it's $10 or $15 to get in there. It's worth the money to do it. Yeah,
worth the
if you're ever down there.
price.
Yep.
And you really get to see history. Like actually see it right in front of you, which is amazing to me.
Right.
You know, the actual stuff. Are there a lot of former, like my dad was in the Air Force as well. Josh's dad was in the Air Force. And it's interesting when you go to places that touch on somebody's past, especially like folks who used to like be around aircraft and stuff like that. Every time I was just in Arizona a little while back, and there was a fellow walking around there around what would have been my father's age, and he had actually worked at, on some of the aircraft there too. Do you get a lot of folks like that who come in who may have actually worked there or were a part of that kind of world, and kind of it's a touchstone for them?
Yes, we do. People will bring in photos of when they worked there and say, hey, we know you guys we have photos in the main on the main floor of the terminal building from the history of the airport, which is really kind of cool. Like, hey, can you add this, or do you want to add this to
wow.
your area down there?
So they want to offer it up.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Another interesting fact I only found out after I started working there. Like I said, I've been there 5 years, but I told my parents, I'm like, hey, I'm working at Republic Airport now. And my dad's like, that's where I met your mom. I'm like, what? He goes,
Really?
yeah, I worked there and your mom worked there. That's how we met. I'm like, never knew it. Yeah, so I'm one of those guys. Yeah.
So it was basically, it was in your blood.
Yes.
You had to work
I guess so.
in an airport.
So, obviously we talk about the history of this airport, but let's talk about the future of this airport as well, because it is such a highly trafficked airport and such an important airport in the area. Talk about what's coming around the bend for Republic, and what locals can expect.
Well, there is some development that's going on. There are hangars that are being built for some of the aircraft that are there already. As I mentioned earlier, there are about 100 based jets there and 400 based aircraft total. Out of the 100 based jets, I would say 40 of them are probably parked outside. And these are, $50, $60 million jets. So the hangars that are being built by some of the developers are to accommodate those aircraft inside a hangar, as opposed to being out in the weather, the heat, the snow, that kind of thing. And it's probably a long time coming. There's not a lot of airports out there that have 100 based jets. And it's like I said, a lot of them sitting outside. So that's where they want to be. That's why the development's taking place. It's not going to add anything more as far as traffic goes. I mean, like I said, we're third busiest airport in the state right now, but it will accommodate those aircraft to a higher level of expectation of what they want to do.
A lot of people don't know that DOT works in aviation in many, many different ways, and we support aviation. We've got a big program going on right now through Governor Hochul, providing funding for major renovations and projects across the state at our upstate airports. But DOT is heavily invested in our airports and in aviation in many, many ways. Talk about the offices that support this mission and statewide, basically.
Yes, good point. And I want to thank Governor Hochul for her support in aviation and some of the grants that we received to improve the airport. But we do work with the Department of Transportation and Commissioner and the Aviation Bureau up in main office. They support our capital program, help us manage the leases at the airport. In addition to that, we have a consultant team of about 28 people that help run the airport, in addition to the 3 DOT employees that are there as well. So the company is Avports. They have a long-standing manager there named John Loth, who's been there about 40 years, and a tremendous asset to the place. And it just makes it run smoothly. Main office folks, Lowell Lingo, Denise Audemont, tremendous asset and help with the running of the facility as well.
Yeah, a lot of people all over the state working together.
Yeah, they talk about one DOT, and that's kind of what it is. And, my relationship with Region 10, the folks at Region 10 or main office or any of the regions, they all are willing to help wherever you need. We talk about DOT and not really being involved in airports, but they are involved in pavements and roadways and signs and things like that. So we have a problem with one of our roadways, Region 10's right there to help us, make repairs or, help us with signage, things like that.
So when we have time, we like to ask our guests 2 questions as we round out our show. The first one is, what's your favorite road trip to take in New York State? And when you're out on that road trip, what are you listening to? Now, I maybe should ask you, does this involve a flight, or is this just road trips for you?
It's just a road trip, I would say. The road trip up here today, for instance, coming up on the Taconic State Parkway. Beautiful parkway, very scenic, making it up here. And I've taken it all the way up to main office in Albany, which is always a nice trip.
What are you listening to? What are you jamming to?
Well, I listen to you guys on your podcast.
Yep. Nice. I like it.
Have to give that plug.
Does it?
Flattery will get you everywhere, Tony.
Then some, Sirius Satellite Radio is always good. The 80s and the 90s channel. And then, of course, Z100 right out of New York City was always good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, first of all, thanks so much for taking some time and coming up here to chat with us. We really do appreciate it. It's been fascinating just to learn about a facet of DOT that I don't think a lot of people necessarily know about, but definitely should. Definitely should. So thank you so much. This has been fantastic.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Well, that'll just about do it for us here from the DOTPOD. Again, thanks to our guest, Tony Ceglio, for joining us here, and thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in wherever and however you may be doing so. On another good one in the books.
Oh, yeah. I love learning about all the facets of DOT, and you and I have visited so many of our upstate airports for other podcast episodes, for events, things like that. And it is amazing to see how they're truly connecting people and just to see how this aviation network works is pretty fascinating.
Yeah, and I definitely am going to have to make my way down there to that Air Power Museum sooner rather than later.
Oh, you got to bring your dad.
I do. That's a great idea.
And the air show.
And the air show. Yes, and the air show too.
Yeah.
And the air show. Love it. Love it. Well, again, thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in this week. We'll be back next time. She's Anya. I'm Josh. Until then, we're right here on the DOT POD.